June 13th, 1782. The sun shines over Glarus, a small Swiss town nestled between imposing mountains. A crowd gathers in the central square, hushed and expectant. Wigged men and women in hats whisper among themselves. In the center of the square, a scaffold has been erected, and a sword gleams ominously in the sunlight. Today, Anna Goldi, a 47-year-old maidservant, will be executed for a crime many already consider impossible in the age of enlightenment: witchcraft. How did a simple maidservant end up condemned for witchcraft during an era of burgeoning reason and scientific thought? To understand this disturbing story, we need to go back in time and examine the life of this woman who became a poignant symbol of injustice. Anna Goldi was born on October 24th, 1734, in the small community of Senwald in eastern Switzerland. The daughter of a poor family, she learned early that her existence would be marked by hard work and societal disadvantage. Tall with dark hair and eyebrows, and often reddened grayish eyes, Anna had an appearance some considered unusual or even unsettling. With few options available for women of her social class, she became a domestic servant, moving from household to household in search of meager wages. Her adult life was fraught with difficulty and scandal. She had 2 children out of wedlock, something extremely scandalous for the time, which brought her public shame and social ostracism. Her first child died shortly after birth, leading to a charge of infanticide. She was convicted and punished, an episode that permanently stained her reputation and made her even more vulnerable in a rigid society. However, around 1765, she managed to secure a position as a maidservant in Glarus, slowly rebuilding a semblance of stability. After working in several households, in 1781, Anna found employment in the home of Johann Jakob Tschudi, a prominent physician, judge, and politician in the region. The Tschudis were one of the richest and most powerful families in the canton of Glarus, pillars of the community's elite. Johann had 5 daughters, and Anna was hired to care for them and manage the household. For some time, everything seemed to proceed normally. But beneath the surface, hidden tensions were silently growing. There is strong historical evidence, brought to light centuries later, that Johann Jakob Tschudi and Anna maintained an intimate relationship, a relationship forbidden not only by their vast social difference but also because Tschudi was a married man. In October 1781, a strange incident disturbed the peace of the Tschudi household. Anne Migli Tschudi, the family's second daughter, then 8 years old, began to feel severe abdominal pains. When her mother examined what the girl had eaten, she discovered something impossible: needles in her milk. In the following days, the situation worsened dramatically. The girl began vomiting needles, dozens of them, along with small pieces of metal. The terrified parents, unable to explain how such objects were getting into their daughter's body, quickly turned their suspicions toward the most vulnerable person in the house, Anna Goldi. Johann Jakob Tschudi explicitly accused Anna of bewitching his daughter's milk through supernatural means. The accusation was as absurd as it was dangerous, especially in an era supposedly enlightened. Seeing herself at grave risk, Anna, knowing the history of witchcraft accusations and her own precarious social standing, fled from Glarus, seeking refuge in neighboring cantons, hoping to escape the escalating charges. On February 9th, 1782, the canton of Glarus, wielding its authority, published an advertisement in the Zürcher Zeitung, a prominent newspaper, offering 100 royal crowns as a reward for her capture. The announcement described her, accusing her of committing the monstrous act of incomprehensibly administering a series of needles and other objects to an innocent 8-year-old child. This public declaration sealed her fate. Anna was eventually arrested in February 1782 in Bad Ragaz, a nearby village. Brought back to Glarus, she was immediately subjected to relentless interrogation. The authorities, driven by fear, social pressure, and perhaps Tschudi's influence, wanted her to confess to having made a pact with the devil, and having bewitched the Tschudi girl. Anna vehemently denied all accusations, maintaining her innocence despite the overwhelming pressure. What followed was one of the darkest chapters in Swiss judicial history, an anachronistic echo of darker times. Anna was subjected to brutal torture, a practice that, though waning, was still legal in some parts of Switzerland. She was hung by her thumbs with heavy weights tied to her feet, her body stretched to its limits in an agonizing ordeal designed to break her will and force a confession. Under unbearable pain, she finally succumbed, confessing to having made a pact with the devil who had appeared to her in the form of a black dog. She claimed she had received supernatural powers from him, which she then used to bewitch the girl. As soon as the torture ceased, however, she immediately retracted her confession, insisting on her innocence, a common pattern in torture-induced confessions. The case generated immense discomfort and criticism even at the time. After all, this was the heart of the Enlightenment, a period when philosophers like Voltaire and Rousseau had already widely condemned the belief in witchcraft, advocating for reason and judicial reform. The trial against Anna was reported in newspapers throughout Europe, generating widespread criticism of the seemingly backwards Swiss justice system and bringing international embarrassment to Glarus. Anna Goldi's trial was marked by blatant contradictions and procedural hypocrisy. Realizing that a formal conviction for witchcraft would generate severe, bad international publicity and ridicule, the authorities tried to avoid the formal use of this term in the official records. Instead, they cleverly accused her of poisoning, a more modern and legally palatable crime. This procedural deception reveals how, even as they condemned her, they knew that the accusation of witchcraft could not be credibly sustained in the evolving intellectual climate of the modern world. During the trial, several witnesses were called to testify against Anna. Anne Migli herself testified that Anna had given her sweets and told her not to tell anyone, a seemingly innocent act interpreted as a conspiratorial gesture. Meanwhile, the girl's health was miraculously improving, which paradoxically was interpreted by the court as further proof that the witch was losing her power over the victim, cementing Anna's guilt in their minds. Anna tried to defend herself, but without a lawyer and facing a court composed of men from the same powerful social class as her accuser, Johann Jakob Tschudi, her chances were practically non-existent. Her trial was swift, and the sentence, announced on June 13, 1782, was merciless: death by beheading. When reading the sentence, the court meticulously omitted any mention of witchcraft, referring only to poisoning. Later, to erase the embarrassing details, the trial records were reportedly destroyed, though some fragments survived. Your boss isn't asking for family leather on the office chair, right? Subscribe, it's less creepy, we promise. On the morning of June 13, 1782, Anna Goldi was led to the central square of Glarus. As she walked to the scaffold, she held herself upright with surprising dignity, a figure of quiet defiance. Some testimonies suggest that she declared her innocence until the very end, her voice clear despite her ordeal, while others claim she remained silent, accepting her fate with stoicism. The executioner, dressed in black, waited with his sharpened sword, a grim silhouette against the mountain backdrop. There were no elaborate rituals or last-minute reprieves. Only a brief prayer was made before Anna was forced to kneel and place her head on the wooden block. A deathly silence fell over the crowd when the executioner raised his sword. With a single, swift blow, Anna's head separated from her body. Thus ended the life of the woman who would be posthumously known as Europe's last witch to be legally executed. Anna Goldi's execution caused immediate commotion and outrage, even in her own time. Newspapers in Switzerland and Germany widely criticized the process, calling it barbaric, medieval, and a shameful blot on the Enlightenment era. The fact that a conviction for witchcraft, however disguised, had occurred in 1782, more than 100 years after most European countries had abandoned such trials, was seen as an embarrassing anachronism and a testament to lingering superstition and corruption. The true nature of the case remained the subject of speculation and historical debate for centuries. In 2007, Swiss journalist Walter Hauser published groundbreaking research based on historical documents previously unknown or suppressed. According to Hauser, Anna Goldi likely maintained an intimate relationship with Johann Jakob Tschudi, her employer. There is strong evidence that he may have even sexually assaulted or raped her, and that she became pregnant with his child, though this child's fate is unclear. When Anna threatened to expose the affair, Tschudi faced a devastating dilemma. In those days, confessed adulterers were prohibited from holding political office, which would have ruined his prominent career and social standing. To silence her and preserve his reputation, he allegedly orchestrated the elaborate witchcraft accusations. This theory explains why Tschudi insisted so ferociously on Anna's persecution and why the case was pushed through despite widespread skepticism. It also explains how the needles appeared in the milk and in the girl's body. They were probably placed there by Tschudi himself or at his command, a cruel and calculated fabrication of evidence against Anna. The case of Anna Goldi illustrates not only the frightening persistence of superstition, but also how accusations of witchcraft frequently masked deeper issues of power, class, and gender. Throughout history, women who challenged social norms, particularly those who exercised any form of sexual autonomy or posed a threat to powerful men, were especially vulnerable to such accusations. Anna, a woman who already had children out of wedlock and possibly an affair with her upper-class employer, fit perfectly into this precarious profile. For more than 2 centuries, the profound injustice committed against Anna Goldi remained unaddressed. Her story, however, was not forgotten. It became a whispered legend, a testament to a dark chapter. In 1991, filmmaker Gertrude Pincus directed a biographical film about her life, Anna Goldi, The Last Witch. In 2007, as the 225th anniversary of her execution approached, renewed calls arose for her official rehabilitation. Initially, both the cantonal government and the Ecclesiastical Council of Glarus resisted, claiming that Anna was already rehabilitated in the popular conscience. Finally, on August 27, 2008, 226 years after her execution, the Parliament of Glarus officially recognized that Anna Goldi was the victim of judicial murder. She was formally exonerated of the charges of poisoning and witchcraft, becoming the first witch officially rehabilitated by a European Parliament. In recognition of the profound injustice committed, the Anna Goldi Museum was created in Glarus in 2007. The museum not only preserves her memory but also promotes critical discussions about human rights, abuse of power, and the dangers of fanaticism. In 2014, the city of Glarus inaugurated a permanent memorial in her honor. 2 eternally lit lamps on the facade of the courthouse, symbolizing vigilance against contemporary injustices and a perpetual reminder of the lessons learned. Since 2009, the Anna Goldi Foundation has awarded a biennial Human Rights Prize, further solidifying her legacy as a symbol of justice. Thus, Europe's last witch has become a powerful symbol of resistance in the face of oppression. Anna Goldi's story remains deeply relevant in our times. It reminds us that a society's moral progress is not linear. Even in times of great philosophical advances, pockets of superstition and prejudice can persist, especially when manipulated by those in power for personal gain. Her case also illustrates how judicial systems, meant to uphold justice, can be perverted to persecute the vulnerable and protect the powerful, a lesson that remains acutely pertinent today. As we walk the path that Anna trod in her final moments, now locally known as the Goldi Path in Glarus, we are confronted with disquieting questions. How many Annas exist today, victims of manipulated judicial systems? What are the modern witchcrafts? The fabricated accusations used to silence the inconvenient, to discredit those who threaten established power. In the place where Anna Goldi left this world, today there stands a slaughterhouse, a macabre irony that has not gone unnoticed by historians. But through the museum, the memorial, and the prize that bear her name, her legacy has transcended her cruel death. From victim, she has transformed into a symbol, from accused to accuser of the systems that permit such injustices. Anna Goldi's case reminds us that the line between enlightenment and obscurantism, between justice and persecution, is thinner than we would like to admit. In every era, including our own, retrograde forces threaten civilizational achievements that we consider guaranteed. The execution of Europe's last witch invites us to keep the lamps of reason, compassion, and justice burning brightly, not only as a memorial to the unjustly treated of the past, but as a vigilant guardian to protect the vulnerable of the present. Anna Goldi, the maidservant who dared to challenge a powerful man and paid with her life, did not find justice in her time. But her name, which her accusers hope to erase from history, is today pronounced with respect. And her legacy continues to inspire struggles for dignity and human rights around the world. Subscribe to learn more untold stories from history.